Good morning, everyone. Today, I wanted to talk about the art of listening. As marketers, the art of listening is very important because this is how we're going to be able to connect, understand, and know our audience. And so I want to take you on my little journey and give you 3 steps that can help you become a better listener. It started when I was a child. I was not a good listener. When my report card would come home from elementary school, it was not a good day in our household because my mother would open it up and she would always start to read. She talks too much in class. She doesn't listen. And my mother would say, Donna, please stop talking. Just listen. And then she says, if you would listen, you might learn something. And of course, her voice was a lot louder than that. I was always talking. I didn't stop to listen. This continued on. When I joined World Innovators, I was in my 20s. I was the daughter of the owner. I felt this need to constantly be proving myself. So when I had the chance to talk, I would jump in. I would talk. I would tell them everything I know to prove that I knew what I was talking about, to prove that I knew the marketing space, how to get and connect people. But I didn't stop to listen. I was going on my first big international trip to visit our vendors and our clients. And right before I left, my husband calmly said, Donna, can I please give you some advice? I said, okay, what? He said, don't just jump in and start talking. He goes, when you're nervous, you have a tendency to talk. Just sit back and listen first. I took his advice and I was amazed at what I heard. I was amazed at how in detailed clients and vendors would go, what they would tell me. Some of the stuff was pretty intricate. And they would tell this to me because I gave them the opportunity to talk. And that reminds me of something I once read. Someone once asked Nelson Mandela, what made you such a good leader? And he replied by saying, because I learned to speak last. I started to do that. I started to learn to speak last. But was that making me into a good listener? No. These 3 steps I'm going to give you now is what made me into being a good listener. The first one is you need to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the person who is speaking. And that means get rid of distractions. Get rid of the cell phone. Get rid of other electronic devices. Be in that moment. The person is speaking to you about a topic. Don't be thinking about what you're going to have for lunch. Don't look at the bird that's outside the window. I know we all try to multitask. I'm guilty of it. I've been at trade shows. Yes, I'm in the room, the person's speaking, but I have my laptop open and I'm looking at my emails. You got to shut that stuff down. It wasn't until I started to shut down everything else and be right there in that moment, paying attention just to that person and what they were saying, that it started to sink in. I started to become a better listener. I started to understand the individual who is speaking, what they were trying to convey to me and why. So that's the first one. The first thing is to pay attention. The second thing is to listen without judgment. You go into a meeting, you know what's going to be discussed, or you've seen the agenda. You're like, oh, that's not relevant for me. I don't need to pay attention. Or yes, I should go to this session, but there's no way that person knows more than me. I'm not going to pay attention. Or I'll listen, but I can check my emails or work on something else at the same time. Don't pass judgment. Take time, listen to the person. Listen to what they have to say. Understand where they are coming from when they're speaking. I am at a point now where I feel you can always get at least one thing from everyone that you take time to listen to. So listen without judgment. And then the third thing is to ask questions. I know we'll sit there in a conference room and we might say, oh, I'm not going to ask this question. That's a silly question. Oh, I'll ask them later. No, raise that hand. Ask that question. Speakers love it when you ask them questions. And what happens is not only do you get an answer to your question, but the speaker then dives deeper and divulges more information that you can use going forward. It's just like these LinkedIn Lives. Ask questions, come with a suggestion, get to know me better, get to know marketing better, but get the answers you need for your questions. There's an old saying that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We all need to start stepping back, listening before we speak, listening before we pass judgment on the person who's speaking. Working on my listening skills now has really helped me both professionally and personally. But I've been able to uncover some great things about my clients' target audiences so that they can now go and market better. One of those listening skills really came into play was when I went to a trade show and I was walking around the exhibit hall. Yes, I went to the sessions and I listened there. But if you go to an exhibit hall and you walk around and you really listen to other people that might be speaking to exhibitors, to people that are speaking to each other. Listen to people as you're getting a cup of tea, what their challenges are, what their goals are. It is amazing how much information you can start to pull together about your target audience so that you can make marketing messages that resonate with them. You can create marketing messages that they're going to be like, oh, yes, I need to talk to that person. She gets me. She understands what I am trying to accomplish. If you can help people save those steps and reach their goals faster, they're going to sign up. So let me leave you with one last final quote. This one is from Stephen Covey. And Stephen Covey says the biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. We do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. Really ponder that. Ponder that, because how many times have you been sitting there listening to someone, but thinking about, oh, this is my answer. Oh, I know what I should say. Oh, I should do that. Hey, I'm that person. I'm still that person. I've got to catch myself because I always want to jump in and help everyone. I want to jump in and show my knowledge. But sometimes you have to sit back and you have to listen to understand. Knowing and understanding your audience is the only way you can build those deep relationships that they're going to want to stay with you year after year. Use these 3 steps. Remember what we said they were? Pay attention, listen without judgment, and ask questions. I hope they help you get a better idea of that target audience so that you will have marketing success. Have a wonderful day. And if there's ever a topic you want me to speak about, please feel free to reach out to me at dpeterson, Peterson, at worldinnovators.com. Have a great day. Bye.